Oh,
And
not
then,
me.
no, I know, okay, I'll turn it off for you for right now.
Me.
Okay, there you go. Oh, no, I don't know if I like that. We are live. Has got anything in here? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, I've got someone who knows like 80s. Someone who uses tech a lot. So a lot of this stuff you may already use. And I'm telling you now, I apologize, but if you know something I don't, then please join in and let me know, whoever said that. Okay, for the people that begin, that are kind of starting out at this, so this is what the session's about. Now I kind of know where I'm going with this. We're just going to talk about what blended learning is and what does it look like within the classroom. I'm going to do a quick introduction. This is the same introduction that I did for my kids in class and my parents at the beginning of the year. I know I haven't introduced myself because I wanted this video to do that for me. And I apologize for a late start. I talk very quickly at times, so you may have to tell me to slow down, but I'll put everything in, I promise. So this is my video introduction. I take 100. living in a classroom, I knew that my kids had to have some place to collaborate online to make my classroom to where it was almost available to them 24/7. They could come to me at any time. A learning platform is essentially a meeting place. And I'm saying learning platform because most of you probably know it as Edmodo or I think Google Classroom. There's so many learning platforms out there, and it's really about what you want as a teacher to implement in your class. 3 years ago, I think, I used Edmodo, loved it. My kids would see me out. I remember the first time one of my students saw me in my hometown at an auction or something. He was like, "Miss Imogen, you're here? Where are you not on Edmodo? What if someone posts something?" And they were seriously concerned that someone was going to post something. But going back before that, it was a matter of just creating that space. And it takes a lot of pre-planning. When you're thinking about implementing blended learning into your classroom, there's 2 ways you can go about this. If you just want to start off slowly, and this is for my newbies in here, if you just want to start off slowly, I would suggest during one lesson, during a unit, like one lesson out of the unit has some piece of technology implemented. It doesn't matter if it's Jeopardy game that the kids have designed. It could be a QR code scavenger hunt, which my 6th graders love. Just something small. If you are in here and you're wanting to know a little bit more advanced, as far as blended learning, then the next step after you start implementing in just one lesson and getting used to technology would be at the beginning of the year. I don't know if I guess you could start at mid-year, but at the beginning of the year, if you introduce a learning platform and you say, okay, this is going to be our meeting place outside of the classroom. So when you need help with any questions, when you have questions, when you want to post something and share it with the class, this is where we're going to meet online. You would just want to do some type of learning platform, I guess, when you're ready for that next step. I'm not going to play these videos because I'm running short on time as it is, but Edmodo would be my #1 choice. Sorry, not Google Classroom, not just quite yet. They have a parent feature on it. They've been going at this for a while. I'm still very comfortable with Edmodo, even this year, even though this year I did launch a Google Classroom. KySTE15 is also great because it's the free version of Blackboard. The reason it's #2 on my list is simply because when most of these students get ready to go to high school and they're taking AP classes, and once they move on to college, what are they going to use? Well, most of the time they're going to use something similar to Blackboard. So if they get used to the look and feel of that when they're in, middle school, high school, on up, elementary even, I mean, you'd have to make it very basic, but then that's something that they're going to adapt to. And if they can play Minecraft, they can get on KySTE. And I'll tell you, my 3-year-old plays Minecraft. 3 years old. I don't know how he does it, but he loves killing the ducks on there. So he loves animals. He'll make them, and then he'll take them away, and then make them. Okay, off topic, sorry. KySTE, I think it's great. I really do. That's why it's #2 on my list. #3 on my list is Google Classroom. I think that they've still got a lot of things that they're working on adding, making Google Classrooms great. Google Classroom will eventually be #1 on my list. Simply because if you have access to Google Drive,
should be #1 now.
And you have access to Google Drive, so you can do everything. My kids have got on earlier this year, and we did, I think, where they did the I am poems from a different perspective of an ethnic group, and they each got on Google Drive, and they created these forms, and then they could get on a draft back, and they got to see everyone's revisions, and they put them together, and then they shared it on Google Classrooms, and it was great. And I'm telling you this to leave you here, because once you choose one of these and start implementing it, this is what could potentially happen in your class. And this happened the first year I used Edmodo. It's happened this year in Google Classroom. You can make it happen anywhere. It is amazing. I have the kids post something, and this is pretty much what I would tell them. That I'd divide them up in groups of 5, and I would say these people are in your group. You need to post, like the first year I did was a haiku. For some reason, it's very difficult for a 7th grader to really grasp and understand how to compose a haiku. So we have 1 day lesson to do it. I was actually being observed that day, and someone said, "Do not use the haiku lesson." Miss McCutcheon, do not use Oculus. Do you remember that? And I used it because I was like, no, I can get it in one day. I know they've got it. And they did. They got it, but I think a lot of it was because I had them on a photo later, and they all had to post. We did gradual release, and at the end, they all had to post their original haiku. They had to respond to 3 other people within their group. And then after they responded, they had a rubric, a very basic rubric, with just 3 or 4 bullets that they had to critique that haiku on. And the amazing discussions that happened within that group. It was amazing, the feedback that they were getting. It was just absolutely amazing. Same thing with Google Classroom. And talking about getting feedback leads me to my next. You can go online. This is a freebie. It's, let's see if I have it on collaboration and social media. The do's and don'ts. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up now. I give them do's and don'ts and say something substantial. So whenever they go on to start to post, then first of all we go over, this is what, kind of the do's and don'ts. You want to use each other's names for questions, compliment your peers, ask questions, be considerate. Like I said, up front, I tell them what the expectations are. The next thing, and you guys can go back and print these out. They're just on the site. Say something substantial. A lot of times I have students saying, well, I don't know what to post. How do I respond to that? So, and say something substantial. And this just tells you, hey, look, here's an idea. This is what you can do. And actually on the little key rings that I've given you, it has a link, and it isn't to my site, but because I typed these out before I found this on the site, but it has a link to a site that not only gives you say something substantial and do's and don'ts, but it also gives you sentence starters where they can give them a little bit. My 6th graders need help with starting sometimes sentences instead of just coming out. We're communicating their ideas. They're still learning. So that sentence starters will be a great thing also to add to this. That's kind of how I control it. While I'm on this page and talking about this, after I started implementing the blended classroom, a lot of my kids started looking for me on Facebook and other social media. I tweet, they can follow me, I don't mind, and I even Instagram. And they can follow me on Instagram. I'm not going to follow them. And like I was saying earlier, the only thing that I really send out on Instagram about this, my kids. So if they're interested in those things and they want to follow me, then go ahead, because that's usually what my Instagram is. But as far as social media, they started sending me those friend requests on Facebook, and my Facebook is strictly for my family. But I told them, you were in middle school. I know you're not 13. I will report you. Do not send me. So that kind of stopped things up front. If any of you are high school teachers, I don't know, you may want to handle that a little bit differently, but because teachers or professionals are just like, okay, what's okay and what's not. So I put this out here. Twitter, I'll look each of these up. Twitter, hey, it says you have to be 13 and over. Facebook, 13 years and over. Snapchat, same thing. Instagram, I did not find any requirements for Instagram. Pinterest, no age requirements. I refused to put Vine on here. I just refused to do that because it says when you open up Vine, you have to click something saying that you're like above 17 or 18 years old. I'm not going to even acknowledge that. I don't have Vine for obvious reasons, and I tell my kids that, until there's a little bit more safety precautions on there, probably don't have that's kind of what I had that. Notice I have that on the same page with my do's and don'ts. So if they have to go print this out, they're going to see that right from the start. Okay, let me see what I've skipped. This is great. I think this is great. So this is what I used to record with. And I love the fact that I have my MacBook here, because do you see my Snagit at the top? This is how I capture a lot of my screen, either pictures or my videos from my screen. I'll just click on Snagit, and it's automatically in with Chrome. I love that. I purchased actually Snagit software. It was like $40 or something to start flipping my classroom. There are other options on the handout I handed you. I created a Symbaloo full of like Khan Academy and other sites that you can visit that have created lessons if you don't want to create any yourself. Snagit software, probably my favorite. Narrable, I use this, and sometimes people are like, what's Narrable? Like it's been out for a long time. Has anyone heard of Narrable? Some of you have? Okay. I show Narrable in the lesson with my help desk that's later on today. But I guess it's just you take pictures and you add a voiceover. It's free, it's online, it's easy. The one example that I have, I think I did it at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was up with the baby at this point in time, and I think you can even hear him in the background. But it's so easy to use. It's incredibly easy to use. So that's kind of a free, easy way. Google Hangouts. What I'm doing now, there is an option. What you guys see me like log in to do, there's an option to do a screen share. So you can go to Google Hangouts and you can do a screen share. And what it does, in this session, it's automatically going to upload it to my YouTube, and it becomes a YouTube video. So with that YouTube video, I can then post it to my website, wherever I need to post it, but it's awesome for free recording online. I don't even have to worry about uploading anything. I just start my screen share, I do my lessons, start my screen share, it creates the video for me, it's in there so I can embed it later. I'm not even concerned with it, it's done. So Google Hangout is quickly becoming like my favorite. And I did post the copyright notice on there because I think that's important. Whenever we're sharing information, just to keep in mind that, you know, we're being ethical about how we share information, especially information that we did not create. Because if you're like me, I do use things in my class that I've borrowed from someone else. So I'm putting that out there. Let's see if I've got what's on. Digital tools for students. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Oh, I went to a meeting and someone had never heard of TPAC before. Have any of you heard of TPAC? Okay. It amazes me that this, again, it's another piece of information that's been out there for a while. I actually downloaded their PDF here so you can easily get it. But it's wonderful information on technology aligned with blooms. And examples of what you can do for this level of blooms with technology. What you can do for this level of blooms with technology. So it's pretty cool. And then below that, you guys want me to pull it up? Do you want to see it? See it on your own? I mean, I can pull it up now, I guess. I'll go over it very quickly. Okay, so all it is it explains what TPAC is. And if you'll scroll down after, and you can see, okay, table 3, let's see if we've got, oh, I guess it is here. I guess it's from this. Okay, develop, okay, possible technology. This is what it is. Like write an essay. This is a description of possible technology. You know what? They have something else posted. I posted the wrong PDF. Actually, it's a good PDF. I would go to their website, I have everything cited, and there's like a 50-page PDF that's really detailed and breaks it down even more than this. I think this is really good just for basics. It tells you the activity type, the description, and possible technologies to use. I could have posted this just because it was shorter and easier to print out, but I know their website has a lot of great resources. So I'm a really big supporter of TPAC. I've also read Teaching Digital Natives, Partnering for Learning with Students by Prinsky. And if you guys haven't got that book, I've read that book, I've annotated in that book. I mean, I've carried it around with me. I love his ideas of partnering with students. One of the main things for me was, how do I keep all this information that is constantly coming at me? And it's constantly changing. How do I organize this information? And in his book, he talks about just breaking down the tools instead of thanking them by their name, like animation tools. And then, of course, that would be like your Powtoons, Once Upon a Time, Extra Normal, or your anime, and so on. So this is just to get you thinking about these tools in a different type of way, because no one had really explained that or presented it to me like that before. And I really like the idea of this. I really like the idea of how he broke down that information in his book. I do have his book reference and an easy clickable link, so you can go purchase it on Amazon under my resource page. I do want to say that. So if you don't have to write down the name of the book, it's all on here. Let me see if I've got, I think I've got everything else. Parent communication in blended form. This is something I did. I've been using KySTE15 since KySTE15 came out. I've been using it for several years, and I've watched it go from just these little clickable things to something that has morphed into very similar to right when I went. Not only put in my custom behaviors and track the students' behaviors and print out behavior reports, but I can also link my parents and in real time send them a message on KySTE, and they will send a message back to me. They don't know my phone number or anything, but it shows up on my phone just like a text message. There have been times I've been in class when we're creating something really great, and I know a parent's concerned with their student with struggling, being successful, and I will pull out my little app to send a text because now it has a photo feature on it, and I'll snap a picture of what they're doing in class. And as a parent myself, I know that means so much to them. They told me that, but I know how much that means. So I'm really being on KySTE. Remind 101 is great. It just doesn't have all the bells and whistles KySTE. If you use a class Facebook, I have one of my son's elementary teachers. She uses a class Facebook. She goes and finds all 30 of her parents, and she walks everything out every year. Bless her heart. Elementary teachers, I mean, I want to be one when I grow up, because I'm a middle school teacher and I don't know how they do a lot of the stuff they do with the little kids that they've got. Twitter, class Twitter is probably more what I would use, or even a class Instagram or Pinterest board being in middle school. Okay, so those are just some ideas to incorporate with as far as communication. Okay, we went over communication with parents in digital form, and along with some behavior management, the different tools that students can use in the classroom, or how to look at those tools. And is there anything else that you guys, any questions you have? I'm going to leave you with a pep talk for my students because it's really cute and I miss them and I want to play it. But are there any questions that you guys have for me? I feel like I've talked the entire time and threw a whole lot of information out there. Or my students, they could probably tell you even more.
Yes, so in terms of your kids that don't have internet access at home, what are some of the things that you do to compensate for that?
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. That is one reason I do not do a flipped classroom, because flipped classroom is where they have to get that information at home and then you practice it. I will never probably be in the position to do a flipped classroom, simply because I work in a district where a lot of students, if they have a home to go to, then they don't have internet access there. The library that's close by, the first year I did this with Edmodo, I would assign things, and some of the kids I know would go to the library and post. There's no one monitoring them at the library because some of the things they posted really concern me. But they worked on that. I think that improved. But the library, I think that was one that they did. Essentially, I do blended learning in my classroom. I take care of them in my classroom, outside the classroom. I keep the communication going so they know that I'm always there. I want my students to feel like I'm there if they need me. If I don't respond right away, then I will respond. But I just want to keep that open. And usually, if I don't respond, then someone else will. I haven't been able to do as much in 6th grade as what I did when I was in 7th grade, because the students in 6th grade, something happens between 6th and 7th grade. I think their Christmas gifts go from dolls to electronic devices. So I think there's that it's a major difference. And then their attitudes change. I mean, it's just more than just technology. It's kind of everything. Did that answer your question? Does that help? I'm sorry I couldn't mention. I think that's the only response, for that. Let them come before or after school. I know that was an option too. Does anyone else have any questions? Do you have any questions? You're my concern.
Well, I use technology, and I use it a lot in my classroom, and I've used Google Documents, and we did big drama projects. But as far as QR questions and these little Scantrons, I don't understand any of that. I don't know where the Scantrons, little Scantrons come from. I don't understand the point. Because that's all new to me, like that.
Yeah.
But I've used Google Documents, and I've set up an Edmodo account, and some of my kids have got on there and they would use that. I put my Google Documents on actual Edmodo. I provided a link for them, and then all my 10th graders had to get on there, and they had to fill out big lengthy things as they did reports, and then they had to go in the third block and go to the 5th board and give each other substantial feedback, which is a problem even for my 10th graders, because they're like, this is good. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Really?
What are you saying? So, and I tease them, but substantial comments is an issue. But I use technology, but I'm still, like Twitter, I just created a Twitter account.
No, it's okay. And technology is changing all the time. As a matter of fact, I think one of my colleagues can attest to this in here. I told her I would not do Google. I said it's not compatible. Not less than a year ago. I said I'll do Google personally. I've always done it. I mean, I've had a Google account for years and years. But as far as incorporating the classroom, I'm going to stick with. We do a lot of Microsoft and things like that. I was like, I'm just sticking with. I'm not gonna mess with Google. They can't even access Gmail. So why do you think they're going to be able to, how do you think they're going to be able to communicate all this information if they can't even get to their Gmail, through the school?
We can use our school account.
Which now they can't, right, now it's different. So I think it's just a matter of taking your time and changing it. When the QR code's the same thing. And some of the technology's been out for a while, and then when someone, like, I'll think, oh, that's old, everyone knows about that, and then I'll get an email and someone's like, oh, I just discovered this, and I'm like, wow, I've had that for a long time. So I think it comes to us in different ways. Similar, it's a great way to kind of keep up with everything. And the more you can keep up with the new things you learn and share that, then the more you'll grow from that. Okay. All right. How much time do I have? Am I close? Do I have like 3 minutes? 3. Okay. So I'm going to show you a pep talk while I get out a pencil and paper and try to have something passed around to you guys so I can get these 5 sheets that I have away. And then you guys are going to and let's think of any other questions. So this, I wanted to leave you guys with a pep talk. This is from my class, my students, and one of the things that they've created. I'm going to have to turn my sound back on so we